Well, there it is, folks. 2,000 days of consecutive logins, and that doesn't mean I play it every single day. Let's just get that out of the way first. Occasionally, I just logged on, spun the thing, and closed the game just to keep the login streak going, just to see if there was ever anything along the way beyond, you know, up to the 5-year decal, and then beyond that, to see if there was anything else. But that's beside the point. We're up to 2,000 days consecutive login, and I feel like that's a great time to provide you guys with a totally unasked for by anyone, but my opinions on the game, where it is, where I see it going, what I like, and what I severely dislike about it. So, here we go. Well, that's nice. I mean, that ain't a terrible thing at all. One thing I will say for absolute certainty that I really do love about this game is the quality and the detail in the models, the actual physical models of the vehicles in the game. A lot of them are really, really, really well done, really well detailed, and they're all to scale, which is even better. So that is one thing that I absolutely definitely appreciate about this game. Not every vehicle is the same exact super high quality. Some of them are a bit lesser, but things like this B25J30. Now, also, I know this vehicle came from a different Gaijin game that they previously put out, and they reused this model, but still, it's a very highly detailed model, and even the ones that have come into the game since War Thunder came out are also very well detailed. They may not be to the exact level of detail as this one, but all of them are actually really well done, and they're taken from actual measurements, blueprints, or even actual physical measurements of the actual existing vehicles if they were able to get their hands on one. So that is something I do appreciate about the game. Also, they do actually occasionally give out a talisman as a reward in a post-battle crate. Not all that often, and it's certainly more common in the lower battle ratings, but it does happen. I got this one just recently, so it's not the only one I've ever gotten. I have gotten a few, and it certainly teases you a lot more than it actually rewards, but it does actually happen occasionally. But we'll get back to that later. And something else I really do like is for the location, the map locations that are actually corresponding with real world locations, like for instance, Port Novo Rossiysk here, they actually, if you go to Google Maps and you search for Novorossiysk, spelled the same way as the game, you can actually zoom in and find this port and all the surrounding terrain and all of the geographical features, and they are correct and accurate, and it is really pretty neat, and I do appreciate the level of detail and the amount of work they put into it. So that is certainly something that I like about this game. So something else I really genuinely do appreciate about this game is the revenue sharing program they created for model makers. For instance, the first one that I remember them talking about, and the only one I know for absolute certain off the top of my head, is the HE219 model, which if you go to information on it, and we bring it up here, you can see that it says right here, it was the first user-created vehicle to be featured in the game as part of the revenue share program created by Joy Division, Daniil Zaitsev, and the plain texture worked on a couple different people, and so a percentage of the sale goes back to the author who created it under the revenue share program. And I found an article when I searched up to make sure which vehicle it was that was first, and it said that within the first week it made him $5,000. So that probably seems like from the time that the vehicle was introduced until now, the amount of revenue he's probably made from it probably made it worth his while for the time and effort it took to actually create the model. So not bad. That is something that they've done right, for sure. Now, something else along a very similar line that I definitely do appreciate about this game is the content creator program, of which I am a part of. While they're not always as clear with the program as I wish they were, I do appreciate the fact that they initially, at least when I joined it, had a very clear defined set of standards you had to meet and a level you had to attain to apply for the program. And then you can get things like Golden Eagles and vehicles, which I have gotten for either test drives or permanently added to my account in order to show off. And Gaijin benefits from the exposure of my videos, and I benefit because I get content that I can make for people where I get views and ad revenue money on YouTube or on Twitch for my videos. So, kind of a win-win there. So that is definitely something that I do genuinely appreciate. Now, I know War Thunder is far from unique in having a content creator program, but I just appreciate the fact that they do, in fact, have one. And part of that, which ties into the content creator program, but doesn't specifically tie into the content creator program, or exclusively, I should say, is the very explicitly spelled out license that you are free to upload videos, you can stream, you can do anything you want with the content of this game on any platform, and you are explicitly given a free license to do so. And there's no, you know, question about are they going to hit you with a copyright strike because you did something or didn't do something. So that I appreciate that right from the start they realized the value of people making videos and streams from the game just brings more people into their game. So there's something else I genuinely do appreciate about War Thunder. I do like also the squatting ability, part of the mechanic of squatting up in War Thunder, the squad scouting that works within your squad, the squad voice comms tree built into the game that works if you're in a squad. Not a lot of people use it because most people use an external voice program, but the fact that it's there and you could get voice comms with a random person without having to go through a Discord or a TeamSpeak or any other voice program is nice that it's actually built into the game, and you can then use a button to do push to talk. I do like that. And just the squatting in general, which again is not, it's not specific to War Thunder, but I do like the way that squatting is implemented for the most part. And along with that, the squadron program. So I do actually like that as well, and from that, the squadron vehicles that they introduced that you get simply by being in a squadron and playing the game. And there's a few permutations that go along with the calculation of how much RP you get from the squadron vehicle, but I do like that they made the squadron vehicles a thing, and you can literally get not necessarily a premium vehicle, but an additional kind of special class of vehicle spread out among the game modes and among the nations and among the tech trees as something for just playing the game. So that's pretty nice. Which brings me to the occasional grinding events that I do happen to actually enjoy. Sometimes you even get a premium vehicle out of them. Depending on the battle rating and the tier, it'll either be a premium or not. It just so happens that my favorite vehicle in the game, the Ersatz M10, came from a grinding event. Now, I personally like the grinding events where you just have to accomplish a number of tasks in a 2-day window, because that allows for people who don't have just unlimited time to play the game to accomplish the things. When there's a capture 30 points, get so many kills, get so many assists, etc., so many wins with so much battle activity, those are things you can do over a 2-day period and still accomplish each stage. And it's not that bad. You can usually do it in a single day, which is good if you have a busy day out of the 2 days, or you have only half of your normal time for each day. You can generally accomplish a stage of an event in that way. Well, I will discuss the other events, the Object 279 type events, the building events, in the second part of this video, in the stuff that I don't particularly care for about War Thunder. And there's another part of the game that I genuinely do enjoy, and that is the language-agnostic comms tree. And by that, what I mean is this right here, where anyone in the game, obviously you can type a message in chat and explain, hey, I need help here, or there's an enemy, whatever type of vehicle located here, or hey guys, go get on C, it's empty, you know, etc., whatever, airplane coming in. However, not everyone who plays this game, this is a worldwide game, which I guess is something else I do like about the game. However, not everyone understands whatever language it is you are typing in. So, if you use the T key, or if you're in a squad, you can use the K key, and I think there's one other. But you can send messages like, attack the D point, for instance, which is everyone's favorite message to send. And anyone hears that in their own localized language, whatever they've got their game language set to. So somebody who's playing in France would hear that message in French, even though I sent it, and I'm playing in English. So that's something that's very nice to allow you to communicate with your team no matter what language they actually speak or would understand. So I like that little detail. So moving on to the things that I most decidedly, definitely, absolutely, positively do not like about War Thunder. This is where the ranting is going to start. I'll try to keep it relatively calm, but some of this stuff after 7 or 8 years of playing the game does kind of try my patience a bit. The first thing is there's just a total lack of competitor to War Thunder. There's no other game out there that does or even attempts to do what this game does, and that is the way this game is put together with ground, naval, and air, and helicopter all being able to fight together in one combined thing, and spanning the time frame from basically about the Spanish Civil War, the inter-World War years, up to close to present day, up to, I mean, at least 2016. There's a vehicle from 2016 in here. I think maybe even newer than that, but I know for sure from like 1920 something all the way up to 2016. That's nearly 100 years of combat in the game, and even allowing you in a custom battle to have vehicles from all those time periods. That's one thing that I really love about the game, but what I hate about the game is that there is no other game out there that even comes close to doing that or even attempting to do that, and that means there's no competition and there is no incentive whatsoever for them to improve or change things up. And you see a lot of that in a lot of the question and answer sessions and just a lot of the gameplay and game design decisions that they make. And I wish something else would come along. And I know I'm not alone in that. And I know that if and when something else comes along, an awful lot of people are going to bail off of here and go do whatever it is that game offers and probably have a lot more fun doing it until we find out that, you know, that game is just more of the same. But anyway, so something else that is extremely irritating about this game after several years of playing it is when you realize that an overwhelming majority of the maps are designed that right off the spawn you drive uphill. Now this is obviously regarding tank maps only, but your beginning of the spawn is down at a much lower elevation than the actual battlefield arena, and you have to drive uphill to get to the fight. Now this is quite clearly designed so that players who have just unlocked a stock vehicle will then have to be incentivized to spend a bunch of real money on the game to buy Golden Eagles, to Golden Eagle their way to engine modifications, to get up the hills faster, make it to the battles faster, and be able to crash their way through the obstacles that are also all over on the way to get there. Whether those obstacles are fences, or all of the light poles, or concrete barricades, or whatever, that's just one other thing that just drives you crazy after a while of playing this game, when you recognize just how hard they tried to engineer the game, almost subtly, although it's not that subtle, to get you to spend real money on this so-called free-to-play game. Also, one super irritating thing is the illusion of chance in the Wheel of Poverty spins, either the daily login one or especially the end of battle loot crate, as it were, where it always seems like, oh, I was so close to getting that one thing that's really good on this, but oh no, instead I get this crappy thing that's not even close to good. Now, sometimes you do get the good things, but it's so extremely rare, and it's so common that that great, huge money hit, or that talisman, or that modification for free is just what the thing doesn't land on, or it's just short, just past it. And it's just not really clever when it happens over and 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 over again over the period of years. But it's one of those things that makes new players think that, oh, I can get these things, I better keep on playing, and maybe spend a little bit of money on the game. Here's one that really just burns me and has ever since it ever came into the game, and that is the ability for a brand new player with zero experience whatsoever in the game to buy their way into the game with a top tier premium. And of course, Gaijin will say there is no such thing as a top tier premium because we added a rank above where the highest tier premiums were. So now there is no top tier premium because we made a new tier above the top premium tier. Even though the battle rating spans into the same battle rating. So a player can literally start a new account, and without ever having played a battle, they can buy a 9.3 or 8.7 premium and just start playing. Skip all of the grind, which generally is how you learn how to play the game and adjust to the game mechanics and the maps, and just start playing at highest battle ratings with no concept of what you are doing or how the game works, and get killed immediately and leave your team with one player down because you certainly aren't going to have a backup or any sort of lineup to match up with your premium tank, and then leave and go off to the next battle and just endlessly repeat that cycle until you finally get bored with getting killed all the time and leave the game forever, having left 60 or 120 or however much dollars in the game behind you as you run off to go do something else. But Gaijin doesn't care because they believe in the whale sales model, where if they lose 50 players who buy one premium or 1 month of premium time and never play again, they don't care as long as they hook that one player that will spend $3,000 on the game to buy every premium there is and 5 consecutive years of premium time, because all the game companies seem to think that's a thing. Another thing that I just cannot bear in this game is teammates who absolutely refuse to communicate. There are so many ways that they built into the game that you can communicate. You can click on the map, you can scout, you can use the in-game chat tree to talk about where things are, you can hit the X button on a target and then use the in-game comms tree to say attack the enemy, which will mark where they are on the map and say what they are. And you can literally just type in chat and say, hey, there's a whatever at square whatever. There's a grid map on the mini-map. But there are players who will steadfastly and just stubbornly refuse to talk. They won't say anything. They'll be getting hit a bunch of times and they won't say a word. Like this guy right here. Why is this? He just sat there and kept getting hit and hit and hit and he never marked the map or said a thing. Bro, why are you keeping silent? Just sit out there and get hit over and over again and don't call for help or mark the map or tell teammates where it is or anything. Just get blasted until you explode. And speaking of teammates, I absolutely cannot stand the players who go to the most pointless positions on the map because, I'm a sniper. And they will just sit there in that position no matter what. They will not react whatsoever to the situation that is unfolding on the battlefield. They will sit in their spot because they like that spot. And they will not move from it no matter what happens. And they will sit there until there is nobody left on the team but them and the enemy team is in the spawn and there are no tickets left. And by God, they're not about to move because they got that camping spot and they like that spot and that is their spot and they're not going to move from it. And they won't move in to help. They won't move to help capture a point. And they will not react because heaven forbid they actually take some damage in a game that's about war where you get shot at. It's amazing sometimes. People are so afraid to take a hit in this game. And sometimes I just have to wonder if they realize it's a video game where you don't actually get hurt or injured or killed for real. And you don't have to pay real money for a repair cost of a vehicle. So, sack up. Charge. At least move in and try to help the team a little bit. Overwatch is one thing if you're overwatching a point that's either being held by the enemy and you're trying to help your team take it, or held by your own team and you're helping your team defend it. But when you're just off at the monastery on Fields of Normandy and the capture point is all the way in the south of Fields of Normandy, you are not doing anything whatsoever to help. Timid, goddamn teammates. But enough about teammates and back to more about Gaijin. Another one of the things that I really I can't stand, I hate it. I hate when they do it, is the events that require you to use the market. The building events where you have to collect pieces of something and get so many items, and you're limited to only so many a day, and then you're limited to only so many throughout the entire course of the event. So if you aren't playing 16 hours a day, you're not going to make it. And you also have to use the market anyways, because they want to generate more money into the market. Because, of course, in the market, there's no getting your money. You can't cash out of the market. There's no way to do that. Any money that goes into the market goes to Gaijin. And even if you make money on something, that's just money that is stuck within the construct of the game. Now, you can spend it on other stuff in the game, certainly, but you can never say, oh, I have 750 Gaijin coins. I would like to cash out for 750 of my local currency, please. Even if it's minus a whatever 10% fee or whatever. I'd rather do that than get 750 local currency items worth of skins or, you know, whatever. But that's one I detest those. I detest those events. A current very much do not like in the game, which I hope is going to be fixed at some point, though I don't hold much hope for it, is the state of the Vaseline Tracks, which is just disgusting. And one more, just final one to throw out there. This one is it's so simple to fix. But it's when you have spawned in and you start driving, your vehicle gets up to speed, and for whatever reason, when you're one of the first players to spawn in, you spawn in the farthest back spawn point, of course. Why would you spawn at the farthest forward? And right as you get up to speed, somebody spawns in front of you when you crash into them at full speed. So simple to fix, and yet it's been in the game just forever. And just... ah! Well, anyway, there you go. That is neither everything that I love about the game, nor is it everything that I hate about the game. It's just thoughts that I wrote down. I had a skeleton kind of script, and that covers my thoughts on 2,000 days of logging in and then having played the game for something like 7 years, somewhere between 7 and 8 years, I think. And for all of you out there thinking, oh my god, if you hate the game so much, why don't you just quit? Well, that's not the point. I don't hate the game so much that I want to quit. Those of us who hate the game but keep on playing the game is because we see the potential in War Thunder, and we hate what it could and should be, but somehow is not. And that's the thing, the ever-living hope that the game will turn into what we see that it easily could become. And we just keep playing because of that. And also, like I said earlier, there is nothing that competes or does the same thing that this game does. So until something else comes along, we're stuck with War Thunder for those of us who want what War Thunder does. All of the vehicles across all those time periods and all of the different battles. Some of it is historical, some of it is fantasy fiction, but it's the closest thing that we've got towards anything that even comes close to this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of the game, particularly if you've played it for more than a couple of months. But if you have only played it for a couple of months, I'm actually very interested to see what you think of the game as well, because my perspective is from many years of playing the game, and also as a content creator, so I know that definitely is not the same perspective everyone has on it. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I appreciate everybody's views and comments and support, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.